Hey everybody, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review for November 8th, 2023. All right, thank you for joining. I just want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. Got a lot lately. I think a lot of them though came due to a guitar video I put up. If you're interested in guitars, by the way, check out my awesome guitar under $300 video. I think I've called it Unbelievable Guitar because it truly is. Also, if you're here to check out the comic book review, that's great because we cover comic books, video games, guitar stuff, music stuff, all that fun stuff. So here we go. Now, just in case you're new, I give a score for the comic books that I chose to read from a 0 to 10. 7, I consider averaging. Some people go, wait a minute, what? Because I go by school grading, like 70% is average. So 7 is average. It might be 7.5, a little better than average, that kind of thing. But not just that. I also use the League of Comics Geeks, and I give you a short synopsis, and I compare their views of the voters there compared to mine, so we get more perspective than just my own. I do warn you, I am going to soapbox big time with the Punisher comic book at the end of the video, so you might not want to miss that, especially if you want to get all butthurt. You want to listen to what I have to say so you can complain just as much as you want. So let's get started here with the first one. You got my notes here. First one I want to talk about today is Birds of Prey number 3. I gave it a 7 out of 10. 159 out of 168 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.2 average rating. The first mission for the new team, destination Themyscira. Yeah, they're going to Themyscira, and they're going to end up having to fight Wonder Woman in the next issue after this. Kelly Thompson's the writer, artist is Leonardo Romero. I thought this issue needs better art. This whole series could do so much better with better art. It has good pacing, though. It has some decent action. But I do think the book really relies too heavily on Harley Quinn. There's some different versions of the cover for this. Some are better than others. Nothing really super spectacular unless you're a big Birds of Prey fan. But as I said, it really does rely heavily on Harley Quinn to carry the book. The next one I want to talk about is The Joker, the man who stopped laughing. Issue number 12. So anyway, I gave this book a 7.4, where 43 out of 52 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 3.8 average rating. So just a little bit higher than I gave it. The shocking and brutal conclusion has come. Joker versus Joker in a bloody no-holds-barred battle for supremacy. But here's the thing, we have the writer Matthew Rosenberg, artist Carmine Day, well, you know, I can't pronounce names, sorry, it's just my fault there, no ill will there. But here's the thing, they're my thoughts with the 7.4. I wish the series had better art. It was okay, but never quite great. It's an interesting story, I really do like Joker versus Joker, because you know there's more than one. And the thing is, so we don't really get a really clear ending here. It appears that one of the Jokers has been killed, unless it's a joke and a trick, which could very well be. I'm not going to tell you which one, and neither are they. The question I have from this, too, is because Jason Todd got infected with some Joker toxin that helped him overcome the fear temporarily. So is this going to start a trend here where Jason Todd's going to be hooked on Joker toxin to keep the fear away? Will that happen? If that's the case, that's Batman's fault, which was something Batman should have never done in the first place. Now, another issue in this series has been, I think, a good one, and that is Shazam number 5. Yeah, 128 out of 135 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.2 average rating. That means on my scale it'd be an 8.4. I gave it an 8, so they give it just a little higher, but that's still a solid score. Billy versus the gods. The captain's battle against the forces of the Moon Emperor may orbit the absurd. Yes, it certainly does, but it's full of action that will leave you, Apollo? You can create your own moon pun there, it says there. But Mary Marvel also joins the fray, and she does, and she doesn't make the character look bad, Captain Marvel, either. And I hate that when I get another character and it has to downplay, especially if the female has to make the original male character look bad. I don't think Mark Waid, the writer, did that in this issue. And the art by Dan Mora was also very good. So good art, fun action in this issue. I think it's a very good paced story as well. the last page, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but the last page in this issue is a shocker. This may be the best issue out of the 5 issues of this series so far. And speaking of good issues, this one is not. My next issue is The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 37. On the League of Comics Geeks, 75 out of 121 liked it. Yeah, with a 2.9 average rating. Yeah, that's less than a 6. That's 5.8. Whereas I gave it a 5. So I was even a little bit harder on it than they were, but they did not like this. We have Gang War First Strike. We have Wreck Rap Returns. You know, the character that really is stupid and I don't think anybody likes. Spider-Man's Funhouse Reflection might just be the thing to help the wall crawler out of the darkness he can't seem to shake. And I tell you what, it's not shaking the crap out of this issue. This issue was garbage. Well, Wreck Rap might help if he weren't targeted by the scariest new Spidey villain in decades. No, not at all. Just stupid. But I will say the gang war is coming, and that looks like that gang war could shape up to be something interesting. The writer is Zeb Wells, the artist is Ed McGuinness. And I would say I like Ed McGuinness's art here. I'm fine with that. This issue, I give it credit, has good pacing, but doesn't matter how good the pacing is if the story sucks. And the story absolutely sucks. Wreck Rap, that character I think is absolutely absurd and dumb. I don't care for that character at all. I'd like to know your opinion on that. Does Wreck Rap suck? Do you think that character's junk like I do? This is just not a good story at all. If you're an Amazing Spider-Man fan, reader, I'd recommend skipping this one. Just nope, no. I'm noping out of it. Not good. Now the next one I want to recap and talk about is, you ready? The character has a popular movie coming out. Well, we'll see how well it does in theaters. I don't know. I think the first one did really good because it was sandwiched between Avengers movies to carry it, where this one isn't, so it's going to be a little bit more honest. And that's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel Dark Tempest number 5. League of Comics Geeks, you ready? 15 out of 25 liked it with a 2.8 average rating. So once again, not another good score right in a row. But you know what? I have to agree. I gave this a 6, so I'm really close to what they said as well. We have Anne Nocenti, sorry, I butchered her name, writing, and artist Paolo Villanelli, which I butchered his name as well. It's a wild, wild war. Not as corrupting influence spreads, the Feral Five and Nitro stand ready to invade Earth. And I'm going to stop right there. The antagonist is absolutely lame. This is not a good antagonist. And the Ferals, those characters are even worse. Who gives a crap? It almost seems like this whole series was meant to create a team called the Ferals, and they're just not interesting in any way. Yeah, the art's decent in this issue, but it's nothing special either. This is a miniseries that you might as well just skip. The 5 issues didn't really do anything, wasn't worth anything really, and was more of an introduction to the Ferals, which is just an absolutely lame team. That's my thoughts on that issue. I'm wondering about yours. Now the next one here might be a little controversial there, and that's Batman issue 139. 234 out of 255 liked on League of Comics Geeks with a 4 average rating, which is a little higher than I gave it, because I gave it a 7.4. We have the writer being Chip Zdarsky and the artist George Jimenez. The new story arc begins with this issue, Batman vs. Joker, but more brutal than ever. Following the cataclysmic events of Gotham War that nobody really cared for, Batman finds himself completely isolated from his family, by his choice, struggling to keep the rage of Zur in check. But he can't stop, because he's out there, haunting the city, taunting the Dark Knight. The Joker and the new Batman is ready to stop him once and for all. Mind Bomb begins. And I will say this, I'm still not a fan of this whole Zur infecting Batman mental issue there, and I don't think a lot of people are. But I will say the story was good. The Joker, particularly in this, is really brutal, and I like what he's doing in this issue. But the art could be better. So yeah, it's a step better, in my opinion, than what we were getting in the Gotham War. But I really like to see this Zur thing end. All right. Whew. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by my wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies, possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody, and let's get back to the video. Here we go. The big one. The soapbox stance is here. And we are going to talk about The Punisher #1. 79 out of 103 liked it with a 3.3 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. That gives it none other than a 6.6 score. And I found myself right around there because I gave it a 6.5. Now hear me out. I'm going to try to be very fair on this, though I will tell you right off the bat, I am a little biased because I like Frank Castle. So keep that in mind. The writer was David Pepose, whatever that last name is. An artist is Dave Watcher. Is this the return of Frank Castle? No, it's not. Or is it really? Because here's the thing, I'm going to tell you right now. How do I put this? The antagonist, okay, is pretty cool in this issue. We've seen this person before, but here's the thing. We lost Frank Castle for this. We lost Frank Castle for this character. I want you to remember that, okay? Now, we lost Frank Castle for this character, but this character is pretty much Frank Castle in everything but name. Yeah, everything but name. You know, are they trying to get away from guns? Because remember, they tried to remove Punisher's guns, so now this one uses laser guns, but he can punch a hole through a tank with them anyway, so how is that any less deadly, right? Do we really need a second-rate Punisher? Why? And I'm not saying this is a bad character, but every beat in this issue is, well, this is Frank Castle all over again. So why do we need to replace Frank Castle to replace him with Frank Castle Lite? And let's be honest, the reason behind this is because the wrong people in Marvel's eyes enjoyed Frank Castle. They weren't left-wing. Let's be honest there. If you were a police or SWAT team that used that, they didn't like you. They destroyed Frank Castle out of spite. Plain and simple, and this proves it. Because this is Frank Castle in every sense of the way. What happens to his family, this new character, was killed. So now he's getting revenge. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, there is no point for this new character. Don't get me wrong, he's a neat guy and all, but there's no point for him. He's Frank Castle with a different name. There's no point. The art was okay, the action was okay in this issue. Don't get me wrong, it really wasn't that bad in that regard. But what was the whole point besides spite? Are people going to want to read another book that's Frank Castle Lite when they have the opportunity? They could have read Frank Castle. And I think that's going to cast a negative shadow on this. And don't just take my words. I want to take a moment and look at a couple of comments of the community reviews on League of Comics Geeks. First one I see has, nothing particularly interesting in this new version of the Punisher. Overall, it's still the same basic premise. Exactly. And there's more to it. I'm going to skip to another one here. Here's a great idea. Let's relaunch the Punisher with a new character nobody has heard of. Just make sure it isn't Frank Castle. Exactly, but it's the same. Matter of fact, there's one page here that the villain, that bad guy, knows. He says he knows, what Punisher will do. He knows his weakness, if you will. He knows his weakness. How does he know this guy's weakness? He's not Frank Castle. He's a new Punisher. And he's not wearing the same outfit because that skull can't be used anymore. We have to have a different version of the skull, right? Yeah. And here's another one. Excellent writing, but a somewhat basic story. Good, not great. And that's what we're getting here. I'm not saying the story itself was bad, but once again, it's Frank Castle. And let's see here. Take my review as a grain of salt. As a non-Punisher fan, I decided to give this new run a try. It's simply okay, with nothing really fresh brought to the table. How about this one? This was a mixed bag of dialogue, art, and just choices made. This comes off as trying to be a cheesy 80s cop TV show with how the two detectives talk in this, yet taking themselves too seriously. Joe Garrison, the new Punisher I might add, just comes out as plain Mr. Military Man, who could have given him better one-liners. The art's really good in some pages, and then others it wasn't so good. Yeah, as I'm saying, Joe Garrison is not a bad character, but he's Punisher Lite. And that's what we seem to be getting from here. Everyone's thinking this is Frank Castle, or this is bad. There's some that think it's good too. How about this? For anyone who is a Punisher fan but is upset about this, remember the old trope that Marvel have a tendency to repeat again and again and again. Heroes lost, presumed dead, actually dead, injured or retired, or the sales start to slow and they can't maintain an ongoing series when they used to be one of the biggest characters in the industry. A new character is brought in to take the mantle. And I'm just going to go there, which is true. And then eventually the character comes back. And that's my thoughts, is how long is this character going to last until we get Frank Castle back? But that's my thoughts. That's my soapbox, not yours. I'd love to hear your opinion. Thanks for taking this time to listen to me rant. I really would like to know your thoughts too. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Until next time. Keep it frugal.